Hello, and welcome to yet another client interview with one of my favorite clients out there, Advik Sachdeva. Advik was part of the summer cohort of the Accelerator, and he really did it all. He went from a $20 internship last year, and through the Accelerator, he was able to land a $60 software engineering internship at Capital One. Incredible outcome, and I'm so unbelievably proud of him. And another part about Advik was that, to be honest, he was actually a little bit hesitant about joining the program at first, but at the end of the day, he was super happy about his decision and the outcome being that $40,000 software engineering internship at a name brand company like Capital One. Here's Advik Sachdeva.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
You
Thank
did
you.
it. How does it
Yeah,
feel? When did you sign
good.
the offer yet?
Yeah, I just signed the offer today. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
want to say congratulations again. Um, so let's just get into it. So this is gonna be like a little client interview where we kind of talk about where you were before the program, how you felt during the program, and then finally like the result that you got at the end. And yeah,
hmm
we can just get started if you're ready.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Let's talk a bit about like where were you before you joined the accelerator? If I remember, I know you interned at Marriott and you're a student at University of Maryland. Why don't you give some background? Like where were you before the program, and what influenced your decision to join?
Yeah, I think before the program, I had a clear mindset that I was trying to get like a top level internship for next summer, and that I had the qualifications on my resume. But I was unsure about the best way of getting those interviews. And then when I do get the interviews, like behavioral and technical, actually acing that interview aspect, I knew that I needed help on those, which is why I decided to join that program.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear. Now, I remember that, before the program, you had tried, I believe like last year, you definitely had done some interviews. You
Mhm.
you were not like completely new to the application process. Like you had some experience. So kind of talk about where you were in terms of like your actual, like what had you done so far, interview wise and also internships before the program?
Yeah, so obviously I had Marriott interview with them. I think apart from that, I had like maybe 4 or 5 interviews from just like doing like mass cold applying. And out of those ones, I got Marriott and I got another like mid-level company. Like offers from both those two. But I only got like 5 interviews from like 5 companies, and that too none of
Hmm.
the top companies that I wanted. And I also did my best to like get some referrals. However, none of those referrals led to any interviews. So that's where it was my sophomore year, my interview process, and I knew that for my junior year, like I had to change something to make sure that I would get more interviews and try to help me get that top level internship, as well as
Hmm.
when I do get the interviews, making sure that I was completely ready for the interview process itself, mainly like the behavioral, like being good at those aspects. And then for the technical part, I knew that I had to lead code. So even like since the beginning of summer, I was doing big code questions every day. So that in that aspect, I felt confident in my technical abilities, but I think my behavioral abilities needed to improve.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. So kind of tell me a bit about your decision to join. I know that, we had discussed a few times, you were kind of on the fence originally.
Yeah.
But what made you actually pull that trigger to invest in yourself and join the program?
Yeah, I think I wanted to make sure that I could do everything possible to secure that top level internship. And the best way to do that was like in my opinion, was through this program. Because I tried doing it the year before, like by myself, and I didn't have much success. Like I did have an internship, but I didn't get to the level that I wanted to. So I wanted to
Mhm.
change something this year. And I think the program helped me with that. It helped me, you know, get more referrals. It helped me with like the mock technical interviews. Um, like actually like in one of the system design interviews that we like the technical interview that we had, not system design, but like a object oriented question that you gave me. It was about like the top K elements and using a heap. And I use that same implementation in my Capital One technical interview. And I think like that helped me get the offer because this was like a unique but more optimal solution. And because of that one interview, Like I knew exactly how to implement it. I knew the runtime, why it was better than like a sorting runtime. So it was like something specific like that that helped a lot. And then I think my behavioral skills needed to improve a lot more. Like while I think I am good at talking compared to like the average computer science student, but talking about my skills and like basically like bragging about myself during an interview, I didn't really know how to do that, and I didn't really know how to use a star method either. So the I was really interested in those mock behavioral interviews that programs offered, and I think
Awesome.
yeah, really those mock interviews is one of the main reasons that I wanted to join.
Yeah, it's great to hear, man. Let's jump into it. So you came into the program, you had Marriott on your resume. Also, just what was the salary for Marriott? Like, what was that hourly rate?
It was 21 an hour.
21 an hour. Okay, got it. Now you came into the program. You were in the summer cohort, starting around like I think it was July or something, and finishing in
Yeah.
early September. So tell me about your experience in the program. Like, what do you think were the most helpful elements, and how did you feel about the whole experience?
Yeah, I think the most helpful element is that it was organized in the right way. Like starting off with before even applying, like having a good resume, having a good LinkedIn, making sure those two things, like I don't have to look at them anymore and get those out of the way. Um, and then yeah, I think the third thing was the overall structure. Where it was like um, you can come to like any call that you want, like twice a week, and then work on what you think you need to work on. And then there's always mock behavioral, mock technicals, and any other advice you need. The program's always there to help you. So I think there were a lot of helpful avenues. And really the most important thing was those mock interviews. I think those are set up really nicely for the students to succeed, and they did translate well to actual interviews.
Amazing. Great to hear. Let's talk a bit more about that.
Mhm.
Now I have heard this from a few people, but it's like not super common that people come back and tell me like, hey, I literally got questions that were almost exactly like the mock interview questions. That like makes me feel really good about the questions I pick. So tell
Yeah.
me more about that. Like, did you feel like the mock interviews were actually pretty similar to what you experienced and the real Capital One interview?
Yeah, I think so. I think like the three questions that I got asked from the interview was tell me a time where you challenged the status quo. Um, tell me a time where you solved a new technology, and tell me a time where you worked in a group. And I think all those three questions were maybe not worded the same in the mock interviews, but like in like the 20 questions that you gave, they
Hmm.
were all like something similar to those type of questions. And because of that, and because I prepared like those 20 questions list that you gave me, I was able to like like understand in any interview what exactly that I want to talk about. Like I can like basically like whatever question they ask me, I can um, shape any of the questions that I prepared from you into one of those answers. So I know
Hmm.
exactly what I'm going to talk about beforehand. And it's just about shaping that answer towards the actual interviewer's question. And I think I understood that after a couple of mock interviews with you. So because of that, it made my behavioral experience a lot easier. And I felt more confident because I knew that in whatever shape or form, like I'm gonna get out the stuff that I want the interviewer to know about myself, like like the proudest achievements I have myself. And yeah, so those mock behavioral interviews that you had really did translate well to my Capital One behavioral interview process.
Awesome. Amazing, amazing feedback, man. That's really great to hear. Let's talk a bit about your Capital One offer. So I'm sure you guys pick it at this point, but like basically, Vic over here, like he got his Capital One offer. Like that's incredible. Congratulations. So tell me a bit about that offer. Like what's the salary there? Um, you said you accepted it. Like what's next for you? Like what are you planning on doing after Capital One?
Mhm.
I'm sure you're gonna be going for full time. How do you feel about the whole job acquisition process at this point?
Yeah, I think it is a big relief. Um, they're going to be paying me like I think it's 60 an hour for 10
Wow.
weeks. Yeah, next summer. That's great.
Dude,
And
that's more than I expected. But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
Capital One's good with that.
Yeah.
They're giving free housing as well, which is nice. And yeah, I haven't looked like too much into it, but from what I've heard, their return offer requirements aren't that bad. So as long as I put in the right amount of work, I should get the return offer, which is great. And I think next steps wise, I'm in the interview process with Palantir as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm trying to um, push that to like the fall or spring of 2025. So I can do both of these internships. That would be really awesome. But yeah, I think next steps after the summer internship, I'm not too sure. Like I would assume that I would, if I get the return offer, I would go with that. But I haven't looked that far ahead yet, or I haven't thought about that too far.
Hmm. Yeah, great to hear, man. So how do you feel about the whole job application process now? Like now that we've done the entire program, you're like very familiar with behavioral interviews, coding interviews,
Mhm.
referrals, applications, resume, LinkedIn. How do you feel about, getting future job offers in the tech market?
Yeah, I think the interview itself, I think that process I feel more confident about. Like it's just a I think the behavior part, like I'm good with now. The
Hmm.
technical is just continuing to just grind the code. So I can like keep getting to a better company. That's all it is. And I think getting the interview itself, this program changed my mindset a lot about how to approach that. Where in this like competitive market, I think I realized that having a referral just itself isn't enough. I actually need to go even beyond that. I need to, like, when I'm talking to a person who works there and I get the referral, like, that's great. But I need to go a step further than that. I need to try to get a
Hmm.
recruiter's email or some contact in the company as well that can help make sure that I'm guaranteed an interview. And I think last year, like, I didn't realize that. Like, part of me was like, oh, I got the referral. You know what? That means like a guaranteed interview. But like, in this case with Capital One, I have friends who got a referral who never heard back from the company. And
Hmm.
I did my best to like get a recruiter's email, get the referral, and a bunch of stuff that kind of just guaranteed me the interview. So I think because of that, my mindset of like if I really want to work at a company, I need to put in a lot more effort than just applying, than just reaching out to people. I need to make sure that there's so many like more stuff apart from that. So this program really helped me understand that process, and it like I'm glad I have that understanding now because when I'm trying to move my career up, I know exactly how to make sure that I get the interview that I want and the networking behind it that I need to do.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. I feel like you definitely like executed on everything we worked on. Even before you had done that Capital One week or something, like you had literally
Yeah,
done like a program before the internship interview, like which is like
yeah,
a week at Capital One. And you had a recruiter contact through that. And you would also, even when preparing for the interview, like we were working on that and I just saw how prepared you were. And I just kind of knew like this guy's gonna be successful, whether it's
yeah.
Capital One or another internship, just like that level of dedication and preparation. Like I could definitely see that in you. So I'll look, my final question here is what would you say to someone who was where you were 3 or 4 months ago, who wants to get where you are, like Capital One, $60 an hour internship, and is on
Mhm.
the fence about the program? Like, what would you say to that person to help them make the decision?
Yeah, I think this program, um, it helps you in ways that you might not understand. Like you might just think like, oh, a behavioral interview, I can do that. Oh, technical interviews, like I can do lead code, that's enough. But there are a lot of aspects that this program provides that directly translates into helping you get an offer. And sometimes it's not even it's not even stuff in the program that's just the basis, like the interview prep or referral prep, stuff like that. It's like, asking the community about questions that you might have, engaging in the community. And like I'm seeing like with the fall cohort as well, the way the program is structured now with using the new school program, it looks a lot more organized as well. And all the resources are right there. So it's kind of like you have like this, like a mini class to just like help you in so many ways where when you from before joining the program you might not understand, but the benefits that are there apart from just like the interview prep, the referral prep, it's a lot of that as well.
Hmm. Awesome, man. Well, I'll like, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, man. And best of luck. I think like you've done super, super well for yourself. And I expect like you're going to get many, many more offers in the future, especially even after Capital One. So one more congratulations and thank you again for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the program. Definitely helped a lot. So thanks for your help and yeah,
Absolutely. All right. Best of luck.
all
I'll
right.
talk to you later then. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.